All right, traders, can I get a quick mic check, please? Mic check. Any thoughts for AI tomorrow? We can look at it. The big move was that 3940 trigger, you know? That was really nice. All the things I look for were there, so hope you guys took advantage of that one. That was really nice, nice moves today. All right. Okay, let's get started. Good evening, traders. Hope everyone had a good day. It is June 13th, 2023. We got through the big CPI reveal today. See, I'm cool, I'm hip. I get the teenager lingo. Everything's a reveal these days. I find that hysterically funny. Dow Jones up 0.43, S&P 500 0.69%, Nasdaq up 0.83%. Gold again losing the 1980 handle, 1957.30 at the time of the cash equity close. WTI crude settles 69.18. The VIX at a paltry 1460. Insurance is cheap, folks. The 10-year 3.844. On the 10-year, we had a. I don't know if you guys have noticed the last couple of days here. We're challenging that 3.9 on the 10-year. So we came in this morning. I wasn't really super stoked about trading the market where it is in the price cycle, but we had the China stimulus headlines this morning ahead of the CPI, and the CPI came in line, and I started hitting those offers in the pre-market, just to pad the account into the open. So that was nice. Traded some Qs and some Tesla. The problem is, we're a bit overextended on the daily, and really far away from the 21, and sort of overextended from the prior month-to-date point of control. So was a little hesitant at the open. As Kelly correctly pointed out, there was a good chance they were going to fade and test the prior closing pivot, which is exactly what the market did. The May core consumer price index was in line with forecasts. The headline number was significantly lower as energy prices have come in more than expected. The data continued to support the skip narrative into tomorrow's FOMC announcement. I think Fed futures are pointing to like a 97.6 chance of a skip. I don't think the Fed's going to turn around and surprise anyone and spook the markets. They generally don't like to do that. Treasury yields moved up after the data, led by the long end of the U.S. curve. Small caps outperformed off the open, but really, if you look at the IWM here, it was really running very strong in the morning, but just came in and kind of went sideways after the third leg, and we had a little bit of a micro rotation intraday. The pound rose after employment data was stronger than expected, causing some to raise estimates for the BOE terminal rate. So that was kind of the data in a nutshell today. As far as headlines are concerned, we had the big highlight for the day was the AMD event. We were correct in our assumption that AMD was going to be a sell the news type of event, mirroring Apple's day. So Apple had a brutal day, piercing, engulfing reversal on its day, and AMD didn't disappoint. You opened above this prior 130.70 pivot. It came into the event and then bounced, and off the lows after it bounced, as it became patently clear that the conga line of nerds speaking at this event had absolutely no intention of wowing the market. The sellers took control and absolutely pounded AMD into the dust, which very proud to say we were a part of that. Who says we don't contribute to the market? AMD saying their MI308 chip is shipping in small volumes, will be used in US El Capitan supercomputers. They talked a lot about generative AI models needing fewer GPUs. Market didn't love that. Amazon came on. Amazon had a little cameo saying they'll offer Genoa and CPU starting later this year. Yellen came out saying it's important for US dollar to be the world's reserve currency. Should expect slow decline in dollar as reserve currency. Boeing announced their backlog order from 4,567 to 4,634 through May. They booked 69 gross orders in May, including 59 units. I didn't trade that release. It popped a little bit. Boeing intraday was just really not moving. I mean, if you compare it to Caterpillar and other industrials, it was just not moving, so I just ignored it. From Cord Cutter, Disney reportedly wants WWE TV rights. That was a headline. And Stellantis came out saying it continues to evaluate Tesla's charging standard. Look forward to discussing more in the future. Stellantis makes all the Fiats and the Chryslers, right? If I remember correctly. An unusual option activity today. We had not a lot of exciting stuff, in my opinion. We had BLUE, the July 5 calls, activity by the offer expiring July 21st. COMM, the January 6 calls expiring on January 19th. And one second here. Let's see. On the put activity side, the June 750 BIG puts expiring June 16th. So that was that's a kind of a recap of the unusual option activity today. So coming into this morning, I was long Nvidia and Tesla off the pre-market. The level I was watching in Tesla was this 252.42. I bought it before the breakout, and watched it go all the way to 255.70. It didn't take a lot off the table, and it really retraced almost all the way back to its breakout level, and then of course finally decided to run. Typical Tesla. Beautiful move here in the premium. Anybody take this overnight? It looked like a really good overnight into the close. So I was my strategy with Tesla and with Nvidia was to hedge with a Q short. So I was in Nvidia and Tesla long. I really wanted to see that break of 404.99 today. And we got it once we got the reversal wedge here in Nvidia. That was a really nice pop there. So it's the start of the day on these two names. Basically, we weren't sure whether the market was going to give us a two-wave corrective, a retest of the closing pivot and a pop, or whether we were going to get some continuation and have the pivot lows hold around 362.70. So we ended up getting that two-wave corrective. So the way I handled that particular situation was I gave my Tesla and my NVIDIA room to work. I trailed out a little under break even on Tesla and NVIDIA, but held the Qs short. When we got that tweezer bottom in an oversold condition in the Qs, I decided to take them long with a target here, 383.86. That was my measured move target. And I think I sold it when I was going off to lunch, but really nice move in the Qs. Tesla, I tried another long, I believe here, and or here, and got stopped out at the lows, which was very annoying. And then NVIDIA, on the second attempt, when we had this reversal wedge here, we had four bottoming tails into the reversal wedge. Took her long here. First target was 404.99, and then I started selling into strength into the high 408s. So finally it ended up working out nicely on NVIDIA. I did not trade Tesla on this move too much. I think I may have scalped it once here, but that's it. But it was a really, really nice move. The one that got away today, and it's funny, I had it in my morning notes to watch Caterpillar for a gap and go, and it put in an incredible move. I mean, look at this thing on the daily. You had your spring event, your sign of strength, your secondary breakout, your 4-bar play, and this morning it held this gap fill and just completely gapped and went. And I just did not participate in it at all, which to my great chagrin, I'm kind of beating myself up on it, because I've been stalking this name for several days. So that was the one that got away. Traded Unity Software. I missed this initial move, but then on this pull down here, I traded it off the 2-minute. I think I got in around 38.25 and rode it into. I was out 3/4 when it hit day highs, and then tried to leave a runner on. I was looking for a break of this prior bar here, 39.43, in case it squeezed through the prior pivot, but it didn't go. So I trailed out of that one. The two other names I really like this morning. I was looking for more squeezy plays. The squeeze has been on lately. So AI, we've been stalking this 39.40 level, 39.39, whatever, for a few days, and notice how it's held the VWAP bands. It's been consolidating, right? And we've been watching this consolidation here, and we were really hoping for a break of this level, and it finally went and gave you a double measured move. Fantastic. I scalped it a little bit, but I did not really fully participate in this incredible squeeze. So there's your first, and there's your second right there. So beautiful 2 legs higher on AI. I scalped it through here. It was a low conviction scalp, and it just rocketed into. I sold it before the prior pivot, and then it went some more. So that was really nice. I think later in the day, I tried to buy the top of this flag. It was a bit overextended. I stopped out of that one, and Carvana was the other one. A bunch of you guys really nailed this early in the session. It was really, really nice. So you got the VWAP band squeeze here. today. So let's see. Yeah, this is today. I need to put session separators on my chart. So yeah, so this was today. So here was the initial pop and flag, and then see how nicely it held the 8 and the 21 here, and they just kept on riding this higher. I scalped a little, I think, when I came back into the upper channel, and then afterward I tried to take it again on this inside bar for the move through 24 and trailed out of it, but you know, just really good action. I was pretty busy through here, so I know Banana Split took this, and a bunch of you guys really nailed this one, so congratulations. Job well done for sure. The highlight of the day was AMD. I did not like the way it was moving relative to Nvidia, so I didn't really trade it to the long side. Maybe a couple of scalps. So traded it when it broke the VWAP bands here for the move into the lower value area, and then covered some into the 127.80s and the 127.60s. Held it here. I was looking for the H setup, and instead it just stopped me out break even here on the pop. Then when Lisa Su started getting really talking about sales and growth, talking about 50% year-over-year growth, I tried this long here, didn't work, and then the plan was if it took out 128.25 that I was going to reverse to a short, and then finally we broke. We ran into point of control, the 200, the VWAP. I mean, it ran into everything except for like a horde of angry Vikings. This was just. I was very confident holding it here on this retracement, and then finally it broke the value area low and gave us a freaking epic move. So a couple of paper cuts on AMD, but the trade idea was solid. It was definitely a sell the news type of event. I was looking for this very similar type of disappointment move that we got with Apple, and it really paid. I was looking for 123.29 right here. That's the lower anchored VWAP band. So you guys got to see if you're new to the room, actual usage of VWAP bands, anchored VWAP bands in real time, and then covered a bunch here, and then finally trailed out after the tweezer top on the. I had a few straggler shares left, but just a monster short here. It was really nice. So that was nice. The way I dealt with this short, I entered it at 25. I covered a bunch here, and then Lisa Su started talking about the new GPUs. So I covered a bunch, and then when it didn't pop at all, and I got right back on. I think it was 127.43. And then I rode the short all the way down. So that's how we dealt with AMD. Trading news flow, it's a little different from just straight up technical trading, because you're interpreting language and general sentiment, how people say things and how the market reacts. So there's a lot of intricacies in language and just interpreting, trying to understand how the market's going to interpret things. But I think we got it right. And really this was a highlight trade for today. Very, very nice. And so that was pretty much the day in a nutshell. Toward the end of the day, after the Qs gave us that two-wave corrective, I was watching this area here, and what I think is really positive for the day. This is right here. I'll give you the whole full day. What I was saying was that I really expected the cues to hold this general support area. I didn't think we were going to have a follow through to the downside, and it held the pivots really well, which just tells me, this general area of equilibrium is going to be key tomorrow into the FOMC, particularly the 363.20s. Look how much volume was auctioned here. So, we'll be eagerly watching that particular price level. The ES this morning, we were watching the overhead target 43.72.50, and look how nicely it just formed that value area high right at that level. 43.72. There it is. So those are the levels we have going into tomorrow. Should be a fun day. I'm excited about the market. I think Powell's going to come in with this very, very hawkish language, talking about sticky inflation and how the fight against inflation is not complete. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall, just give us the whole Churchillian speech about the fight against inflation. And I expect an initial pop, and then I expect some selling into the event. So puts are cheap. I'm not telling you what to do, but they're on sale. So that was my day in a nutshell. Let's see what we got here as far as trade reviews. Okay. One trader wrote, got stuck in NVIDIA long due to platform freeze this morning at the start. He had a big red day. Yikes, man. Guys, get a trading platform you can trust. I can't stress this enough. You're dealing with some of these cheap retail brokers, stuck orders, stuck trades. That can really ruin your week. It can be very mentally debilitating. Sorry to hear that, bro. Let's see. Let's look at the next trade review here. Okay. Daily trades 613. Had my worst day in some time, hit my stop loss. I feel like I just got chopped up today in the market. I'm trying to take this as a learning experience, but I'm not entirely sure what lessons I can take out of this. I don't think my trade ideas today were particularly terrible. I just had my, maybe it was just my execution, or did the market just had something else in mind? Alright, so you bought Tesla. You bought Tesla calls, okay. Well, Tesla's really overextended. If you're buying Tesla in the pre-market here, you got a lot of room to play with. But when it's this overextended and you're trying to catch the opening range breakouts, and you hear the seasoned traders around you telling you they're expecting a fade, you do well to listen. Kelly was expecting the fade, and a bunch of other traders were looking this to come in back to a reasonable demand zone, and give you a two-wave corrective into a demand zone based here, and then ripped for the rest of the day. So I think you're very overly aggressive on this trade. Yeah, same thing. It's too early. That's all. I think you're, in the price cycle, you're too aggressive. Nvidia, you chased, dude. Nvidia, you bought it up $4 from the base breakout. This is a major chase. This is a huge no-no. Terrible, terrible execution. Yeah. This is Nvidia at the open here. This, we called out this entry here, this breakout, and it went right to that 404.99 at the open, right? This is the level. And then you bought this doji. So you're buying it right into a resistance level. It's a poorly conceived trade idea, in my opinion, and a very late execution. You want to buy, at the end of a cause. So if you're looking at the 2-minute time frame, that would be your opening range breakout. Now Nvidia was gapped up $5 or $6 already, so this would have been an aggressive trade. This one is very, very aggressive, very dangerous. Do you think you're going to get, realistically speaking, after a $5 move, do you think you're going to get an inside bar and another $5 move? Like, you need to ask yourself that, right? This $5 move here, once you broke out of the wedge, took you what, 20 bars to recreate. So you got your market on open imbalances shooting you into an overhead supply zone like a bat out of hell, and try to buy this inside bar thinking you're gonna get follow through is very, very dangerous. Okay, so remember, you want to buy into the end of a cause, right, in the beginning of the effect, not at the end of the effect, unless you truly believe that momentum is going to beget momentum and you have a good reason to dive into the violence. You're diving into the violence into a brick wall, right? So I hope I don't sound too harsh. Just my 2 cents. All right. Is it possible, this is a new email, is it possible that you might give a short lesson on option strats? What I mean is the different spreads and condors and all the other stuff that we may not know. I realize I can read about it on my own. Yeah, I mean, I write options all the time. You guys really want to know about that stuff? I collect premium in my long-term income accounts. Okay, all right, we can talk about it. I'll add it to my giant pile of education to-dos. Let's see. Okay, this is another email question. I know you're already behind in emails, and I'm sure you're inundated from new people, so I apologize in advance for adding to your workload. No problem. I had my IRA in an all-money market drawing 5% a year because I've been afraid of the rug pull. If it doesn't happen next week, I'm going to start deploying some funds. I was wondering what you think about AI ETFs. It seems to me that bots, CIBR, and chat are no-brainers. What's the forward PE on AI? 350. What's the forward PE on Nvidia? 39. Price to earnings 213. So let's bring up the SPX, okay? We are at, I know we're over the August highs, okay? But in my opinion, this market isn't cheap, and we're in an area where the market could really reverse and come back and reacquaint itself with 38 and 3600 very very quickly. So when I make long-term investment decisions, uh, I'm not a big fan of buying forward P's in the 350s. What happens when the market comes in and these high forward PE names get destroyed? What happens to those ETFs? You have to ask yourself that. It's not pretty, right? So, for me personally, I like to buy the market when it's at a, a better value, especially when you're dealing with these incredibly inflated forward price to earnings ratios. To me, it's very very dangerous. Um, people bought Cisco in 2001, thinking Cisco was the wave of the future. Okay, and these mofos, some of them were able to break even 20 years later, right? So you have to ask yourself, in 2001, did people know that the internet would change the world? I'd say they were correct about that. Did they understand how that would take place, what it would look like, and who the leading players would be? I don't think so. And most people didn't correctly predict it, right? They thought Cisco being the plumbing of the internet would be uh, would be leading the way, and in fact, you know, it took Cisco, is it worth more today than it was in 2001 from a valuation uh, and earnings standpoint? Does Cisco not earn a lot more money than it did in 2001? It's not even close. So, it took 21 years for Cisco's stock price to catch up with the highly overinflated stock price that or overinflated valuation it enjoyed in 2001. So, if I were to think about long-term investments, um, in a portfolio where I see such inflated valuations, when the market could easily be in a range for the rest of the year, or come in and at least explore the 200. you know Personally, I think we're going to revisit COVID lows at some point. You're going to have you might be waiting a long time, and there's absolutely no guarantee that the names in any particular AI ETF are going to be really the leaders of the future. Who knows what may happen to AI. So just something to think about. I hope that helps. End of rant. Let's see. Uh, Somebody wants me to make Benzinga Squawk available in the room. You have to take that up with T3. They have a licensing deal with Benzinga. I don't know. I don't know what the deal with that is. I don't think I'm allowed to stream my Squawk into the room. Tomorrow, rate pause is bullish or bearish. It's priced in. What's not priced in, Harry, is a summary of economic projections, or the comments that Jerome Powell is going to make in the Q&A. Right, he's going to get grilled. All of the important reporters are going to ask him questions. The Steve Leismans and Nick Timoroses of the world are going to ask him hopefully difficult questions, and the market's going to react to that. So the market has already priced in the skip. What it hasn't really been able to price in is what the SEP, the Summary of Economic Projections, is going to say, or how the market is going to react to Jerome Powell's comments. So, indeed, Mark. And I think inflation is going to continue to be much stickier than people think, for, all the reasons. Yeah, for sure, Z. There's a reason I have to take a 30-minute nap at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I got like between 5 and 7 squawks going on at once. It takes a lot of concentration. If I were to start streaming new squawks into the room, it would introduce a lot of noise. So just that's just my thought on that. Superhuman abilities. No, I just have ADD. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got, Mark D. Oh, thanks for sharing, Jacoby. All right, so that's all I got. Anything you guys want to talk about? I guess you guys want to know about my swing position. So I went long Shaq today. On the daily, we had a very interesting buy setup here. So we had a tweezer bottom off the daily 8. Took it right there, and it finally went. Looking for $72 next. It's a nice stop there, 68.01. So that's good. CCJ had the other swing long we're in. It was $1 away from target this morning, so this was a big, nice green candle in the morning. And off the China news, I thought with industrial metals moving, I thought there was a chance we might have some more follow through. And it came in. We had a little bit of dark cloud cover, but there's not a lot of technical damage done, in my opinion. As long as we stay above $31, $30.70, I think we're okay. So that's Shaq. Schwab still in it. It's we had a shakeout bar yesterday, inside bar today. I'm expecting more continuation. The carry recovered really nicely right here, so still in it. We're clearly still channeling, so looking good. What else are we in? I don't have my swing account open, but I think that's it for now. So that's the swing trades. Rumble. Yeah, I didn't stop out yet. We're holding $10. If we take out 970, I'll probably exit. I'll see what happens. This is not a good look for Rumble, but with the Trump indictment today, I think, and all that stuff, I think that may have affected the name. So that's all I got. Any technical questions? Anything you guys want to talk about tonight while we're still here? Question: on days where there's a lot of stocks that are moving up, I get overwhelmed picking a few stocks to focus on. Any tips to remedy that? Sometimes I miss entries just because I'm watching too many things and miss. Yeah, I'm sure I'm not the only one with this problem. Yeah, so it's a challenge for traders. That's why it's I was kicking myself because I missed Caterpillar myself. Game planning is important, and at any given time of the day, Del, I'll have 10 to 12 orders open. I'll have buy stop limit orders, sell stop limit orders, and alerts. So when prices break levels, I don't have to think about it. I have a game plan for that particular name, and if it goes, it goes. Yeah, so get out of my head, Kelly. Seriously. What I was gonna say, dude, Kelly keeps on jacking my thunder. What I was gonna say is focus on names that you're really familiar with, and just get good at trading a particular basket of stocks. That's how I started. And they don't always have to be the same. Like if you like industrials, you can choose Caterpillar, Boeing, an industrial metal, maybe FCX or X, and then three or four tech names. Maybe you like to trade, in the banks, you like to trade JP Morgan, right? And so, depending on the market cycle and the stock rotation, you have your levels. You're really familiar with the name, and you're able to capitalize on those slowly. And as you grow more and you become more involved with the market, it starts to become much easier to multitask. To handle more of a sensory workload. You know what I mean? So, I think that's alerts. Yeah, alerts are helpful, and alerts are really helpful. And just coming into the market with your levels ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, being familiar with the charts the night before, saying, okay, if CBNA takes out 2250, I have a trade idea. I have a game plan for that to go, right? AI, if it takes out 3940, I'm looking at a short squeeze through that level. Okay, so that alert is set, that trade idea is set. You don't really have to think about it. So when it triggers, you can buy it, manage the trade, and if it's working, you can move on to something else if you have to. There's a lot of traders, guys, who trade one stock at a time. They're just scalpers, and they make a great living. You don't have to have 10, 20 open positions for a living. There are many traders who like to do that. Sometimes I'll have 5, 6 on intraday, especially if the market's moving, but I don't think it's necessary to your success as a trader. Buying and selling volume, Rufus. You're doing your morning plan at 8:45 is so much better in my opinion. Yeah, I think it's helpful too. It gives us a little bit more time before the market opens. Caesar asks, what is the best way to determine what name to trade at the open? We're going to talk about that on Thursday in our game planning session, Caesar. But, you have to, in my opinion, you have to trade things that are in play, right? Things that are moving, that the market is interested in trading, right? If you traded AI before today, right? Let's bring up AI. Between the 6th and the 12th, would you say it would have been really easy to get chopped up here? I say it would have been very easy to get chopped up here, right? Look at AI today. Today, AI was in play, right? So recognizing levels where you're going to be outside of a fair value area that may trigger momentum is a key factor in that, right? Understanding just based on price alone, what's most likely going to move. What was the other catalyst that we had for AI today that most likely led to this price break? What was the other thing that was happening today that most likely led to this squeeze? There's two things, right? We had the AMD event, and we've had short squeeze. Big fat bars. Bro, I think it's called anchored VWAP. It's the icon with the anchor, literally. No problem, Del. No problem. I'm on Pacific too, bro. I haven't woken up after 3 in the after 3 a.m. in quite some time. So if you go to the settings, it shows you right there. Value area, yeah. So yellow is down, blue is up. Right. 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys, I just had a visitor. Let's see. On AI, I was wanting to backtest the 39 level. Think it would validate it. Is that a normally good idea, or is it something like an So it's Phil. Did you take the momentum course? Remember what we talked about in our you sleep to 5 a.m. So when we have a sign of strength outside of a value area, right? If you look into the 1 and 2 minute chart, price action wise, you have no lower lows, all higher closes, right? On the 2 minute chart, you have opening range breakout, inside bar. So you have two choices. If you're waiting for a slow schematic to form, it may never come, right? So you can either buy the 2 minute opening range breakout with a stop underneath, and then when it comes back you can add, or you can wait for the fast schematic, which in this case was a 2 minute inside bar breakout, which held the retest. So those are your choices. All right. Let's see. Any other questions? Can you scan for gaps on Tuesday? Yeah. TC2000 is a fantastic scanning tool for gappers. You can scan for all kinds of amazing things. If you like scans, real time or pre-market, TC2000 is a fantastic tool. It's one of the reasons I still keep it around, despite the fact that it's clunky and outdated. Where can I get the info on TC2000? You can go to Warden Brothers, their website, and then the tutorials. They have a million tutorials on different scans, and there's a lot of people here with their own scans. So if anybody wants to give Derek their scans, I'm sure he would appreciate it. But the Warden Brothers site has a ton of recipes for pre-market scans. IoT, sure. Yeah, so this is a 13-week base with a high volume markup. I would like to see at least a 6-week reaccumulation here. I can't buy this personally. TG. You're experiencing major FOMO. You're going to experience a lot of other unpleasant things if you chase this, brother. Trust me. Ask me how I know. So take this price, take this bar count, okay, and tell yourself you're going to look at it in August. You know, Colton, when you see those 2 minute open range breakouts, do you consider that it's a risky trade? All trades are risky. Are you doing like smaller tier size? I didn't trade the initial breakout in AI at all. I was in other things, and I just wanted the room to know about it. I think I took some here. I was scalping it, but I didn't take the initial breakout. But yeah, you can take the opening range breakout with a stop here. Sometimes these go like this, and then put in a shallow saucer here, pop, retest, and go. You have to manage. The most important thing is you manage risk, right? So let's take a look here. this opening range bar 39.71, right? So you had about 35 cents of risk. So say you take 1,000 shares at a dollar cost average of 39.72. You set a stop underneath the slow. You might get stopped out, only to get a shakeout bar and a pop. But in this case, you could have added through this high, or added into the pullback in the 8, and you would have raised your dollar cost average to like 40.10, and still had a decent stop underneath this pivot low. So you got to do some math. There's math involved in trading, unfortunately. So you have to decide for yourself. Following up, I never know when it's a good idea or not to do an opening range. What are the clues for what might be the day? John, did you take the momentum trading course? It's all about momentum. All right. So what are the two events that trigger the turn of cause into an effect, John? A cause takes time, but what are the two triggering events? Shakeouts and compression. Correct. Okay. What do you guys see here? Compression, right? So the beginning of a phase in the price cycle is marked by either a shakeout or compression, right? We were in a wide state here off these 44 highs. We came in and we narrowed the range, right? Compression, 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 compression. We could not take out these lower VWAP lows. What do you think the shorts were thinking here and on this retest and on this retest and on this retest? What do you think the shorts were feeling right here? Were they looking perhaps for a religion to convert to this morning? They were looking for Eddie's account. Yeah. So as you go from a wide state into a sort of a more compressed, narrow state that looks very similar to an ascending triangle. There's no apex here, but it's the same concept, right? This cause is fulfilled by the break of this compression to the upside that sends the shorts running for cover. The short interest in AI is what? 60%? It's something very, very high, right? So when you're looking to find opening range breakouts, right? You want to find the beginning of the effect out of a cause. Basically, in English, right? If you have a long base, say a wedge, say a tight base, say a V bottom and a platform, yeah, right? These are all the same face, or the same concept with many different faces. You're building a cause, right? And out of equilibrium, when an area of equilibrium is broken, right, you find very quickly that when you break equilibrium, you have momentum, right? So since last Monday, traders were being paid to buy the lower VWAP band and sell the upper 3940 pivot, right? Sell, buy, with a point of control around 3790. This equilibrium was broken today on a stock with a very high short interest, and shorts were trapped, looking to get out, right? Cause, compression, effect. It's one big cycle, guys. This is like we think about things intraday, but this is the Wendy cycle, right? Cause, effect, buying climax, distribution, right? Narrow state, wide state. Return to an area of equilibrium. Narrow state, wide state. Cause, effect. Okay. Not always, Rafis. You can have compression in a falling wedge, compression in a rising wedge, compression in a channel. What you want to see is the price range, right? The area of equilibrium between buyers and sellers become narrower and narrower until something snaps, right? That's the whole idea behind, like, say, Bollinger Bands, right? Yeah, of course, absolutely. Volume jumped out. So, are there any questions I missed, guys? Any other comments I may have missed? Sorry, there's a lot of comments here. Rivian. They make great trucks, man. I saw a Rivian truck recently. I was impressed. Yeah, so here's your accumulation base. Neckline breakthrough 1570. You know, you've got a bit of a polarity shift, right? Buyers came in, two-wave corrective, hit a distribution top, another two-wave corrective. You set a new low, and now you have a base here, trying to absorb all this prior overhead supply. When it goes, you can expect a measured move like so. 1875. Question: when you enter position, you go full size right away or scale up as we go up and start? I have a 3-tier system, Dell, this morning, and you got to game plan that. It's very important, right? This morning, you guys remember what I said this morning? I said until the Qs retake R1, I'm gonna be tiered low in the market, because I'm not sure if this rising wedge here is in reality a rising wedge or the beginning of a measured move on this channel higher, right? So until I have better clarity and what's happening on an overextended day, right? So late price cycle, when we have these moves, until I have clarity as to what's going on, I'm tiered, half or a fifth tier. Once what I'm looking for happens, in this case was retaking R1 in the Qs, right? That 362.34 was the magic number, and once it got taken out, right, I got what I needed to see. Nvidia ran, right? Your AI started to run, and the Q started to run, right? Everything started to work. So I need to see what I need to see in the market to have higher conviction in my trades. Until then, I tier down. Does that make sense? So having a tiering system is really important. When I'm not clear, when we're late price cycle and we're looking at mean reversion in the market, and the mean reversion hasn't tested a prior demand zone like we had today, I'm not sure what's going to happen, right? So what's the point of trading full tier only to get a bunch of losses? You're going to work the rest of the day to try to get back to even. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? So that's how I approach it. Everyone's different. Yeah, those Rivian trucks are nice. Anything else, guys? We got a little time here. Happy to answer any other questions or whatever. Alright, fam, so let's go over the calendar for... I've never traded ILN now, or LIN. Can you draw some anchored VWAPs on Tesla? Sure, buddy. I will do this for you. So, here is your high volume bar at the lows. Okay. Your igniting bar here at the highs. Okay. So I went long Tesla here this morning. This was the long that I got stopped out of. Notice what happened in Tesla here. On this anchored VWAP, you took out the pre-market level we were watching, 252.42, right? This is previous high. See that? Gave you your first leg. Okay, this is like Brian Shannon does these a lot. He anchors a top VWAP, a bottom VWAP, and when they pinch, there's your first point of control. When you take the value area high, here's your long signal right there. You see that? Why do you prefer TradingView to TC2000? It's got more things that I need, Larry. Unfortunately, it doesn't have an hourly chart, so you know. But it's a more flexible tool. It also has futures and currencies. TC2000 is only. When are you deciding to swing versus day trade? Brad, that's a great question. I only swing things that are trending, or within an early in the price cycle or continuations. And I trade things intraday all the time that are, within a range. So Qs today, would it have been wise to enter a Q swing long here? Not particularly, right? But this was a no-brainer scalp for an Angry Bird type of move. So intraday, as a day trader, I take advantage of supply and demand imbalances, and when I see the closing pivot give me a tweezer bottom here, that's a screaming long signal, right? This is not necessarily a sign that I'm going to marry the Qs and take them long for a swing, but take Shaq for example. We took this one long today. Okay, so what do you guys see here? V bottom, platform, sign of strength. Your buying climax formed a cup. Here's your handle. And what happened here on the daily? Yeah, it is a power pivot, but it's also like a low cheat, right, off of a handle. So, as Mark Minervini would call it, right? So you have a shakeout bar on the right side of a cup, and the idea behind this trade is if you get a break off the cup, you get that measured move higher, 74.49. So you're taking the buy setup off the right side of the cup. Hopefully it takes out these prior pivot highs, right? In IBD parlance, this would be your buy point, and you're entering before the buy point. That's why Minervini calls this cheat entry, and you're hoping, hopefully we have a nice three-legged move higher, right? This basically put the nice long cause effect, your sign of strength. Now you're building another cause, and you're about to hopefully take off here. So all that analysis, right? in this type of trade, I would take if I think we're in an uptrend for a long, and that we have continuation for a move higher, right? If there's nothing remarkable about Shake Shack, I don't day trade Shake Shack. It doesn't have enough volume. But if I were in this range, right, I wouldn't be trying to swing Shake Shack, right? It's building a base. So my specific criteria for swing trades are, is it going to make a move as a continuation move within the price cycle that's going to give me a decent return on many days, and is it uptrending? Like, how many, I can't tell you how many people I see post trades on Twitter. They're buying like all kinds of crazy swing trades within ranges. They're trying to bottom fish with no signal. Isn't it easier to just buy something that's already in active sequence? It's trending. It's holding the 21. It's looking strong. Those are the kinds of trades I want to take for a swing trade. It's a great question. I think this will be faster. There's acceleration here, right? Look at this move. So you had that V bottom. You had that big igniting acceleration here. Right on the weekly, this was your spring. Here's your reconsolidation. You have a nice acceleration in a shallow cup that didn't really take out the lows of this base. So to me, this looks good. This looks like it's ready to go. Yeah, that is Twitter. Man, when you take your trading advice from Twitter, you're taking your account into your own hands. AMD, I think the market's going to look at AMD as a buying opportunity, as crazy as this sounds. And so let's bring this month to date. All that happened in AMD is that it closed right into the value area high on this profile, over the point of control and over the anchored VWAPs, right? So people who've been buying AMD are mostly all on the money. So I expect buyers to come in and defend AMD, especially if the semis continue to move. What did ASML do? AVGO. The semis look strong to me, man. Look at AVGO. Still very strong. This is setting up for a 1-2-3 tomorrow. The SMH in general looks strong. This looks a little toppy, but let's see. Yeah, it is. See what happens. Yeah. What you would need to see, what I would need to see on AMD, right? For AMD to break, truly break, it would have to take out 116. But this is a major gap. This was earnings, right? So AMD could just play around here for weeks. Look how long it took NVIDIA. So this was our wedge, right, in NVIDIA. We were watching, yesterday we took that initial breakout here on the hourly off the wedge, and finally we got some continuation today. Beautiful move. Look how long it took NVIDIA to build this cause off their earnings gap. You see what I'm saying? So this was May 25th to June 13th. So that's what, 3 weeks? So AMD, it could be a while. Thanks for helping me understand the anchored VWAP. I could not see what you're doing very well on screen. You anchor the first point on the high volume low and the... Correct. I hope that's it. I totally missed the second VWAP. You have to play with it. You have to use all these indicators too, Shop. All this stuff is only helpful if you find it helpful, and it helps you see the market in a way that gives you an edge. And if it doesn't, then don't use it. You know, I just wanted to share a tool that I find helpful. The spread in AVGO makes it. Yes, it does. I don't like day trading AVGO. Yeah, he did. He's been beating the anchored VWAP drums for a long time. I think I met him on at Full Shilling like years ago. After a talk, and he was, talking about anchored VWAP. He just wouldn't shut up about it. No. It's a useful tool. It's a useful tool. I don't think I need to read a book about it. I guess I'll check it out. One wife is enough. It's Phil. All right, guys. Anything else? I think one wife is all I can handle. THX, is that a... Oh, was that your way of saying thanks? Okay. I was like, wow. Don't get me started on this chart. Alright. My pleasure, Mr. Steve. We'll see you guys in the morning. Let's just go over the calendar real quick. I know you guys want to get out of here. You got a big day tomorrow. Okay, mortgage applications and PPI final demand at 8:30. That's probably going to move the market, especially if it's we see some divergences from the CPI as far as inflation is concerned. And then we've got the Atlanta Fed business inflation expectations at 10. EIA report at 10:30, and the all-consuming FOMC announcement at 2. I expect to pop in a drop, so we'll see what happens. And then the Fed chair press conference. It's going to be a clown show. I'll say this: if you're a guest in the room, or you don't feel comfortable, or you've never traded an FOMC announcement, please, for the sake of all that is holy, do not give up your day, your week, your month, your year trying to trade an extremely volatile and risky event. A lot of traders in this room trade these events with great precision and zeal and success. It's not for everyone. If you're not a very fast scalper or feel comfortable with very volatile price action, you can paper trade it. You can trade it with one share. You can get really hurt during these events. So I'll send another reminder tomorrow. So definitely be careful if you plan to trade the news release tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm aware. TDV. we it's always a fun pop and drop. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, bright and early. Have a great evening, everyone.